There was absolutely zero expression on Chud Dumbbell's face during both of his sentencing and verdicts, and we're going to talk about it in today's video. Hello, Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the kitchen, I guess you could say, but the sofa for those who are usually here. Y'all, I'm not at the regular place today. I have been away from the house, and so we are going to be coming live to you, reporting live from the kitchen. Now, y'all, this is gonna be a video that's basically a very requested one, but obviously that's like late to the game, if you know what I'm saying. We didn't get to watch this together or whatever. I might do a live chat on the other channel where we can watch it together because it's just so wonderful. But a lot of you have asked my opinions on the sentencing, the verdict, all that type of stuff, right? So I want to do a quick video. It's not going to be a real long one, but what I want to do specifically with this is I've kind of like blown up the square that Chad is on so we can see his face when they read the stuff out, because there's literally nothing there. Like, that's the whole point, right, of this video. Is basically, to sum it up, there ain't nothing there that we're getting from Chad, which I think is interesting. So anyways, that's the layout of this video. That's how it will go. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody for reaching out about our beloved Roscoe. It's been helping me to hear from you and read all your comments. I might not have been able to get to everybody yet, but I've been reading them, and they literally get me through the dark times over it. So I greatly appreciate it. Now, also, if you do want to follow me outside of YouTube, you can check out my Instagram. It's on the screen. Go on, give it a click. It's in the description too. Now, let's go ahead and look at that first clip.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho in and for the County of Fremont. State of Idaho plaintiff versus Chad Guy Daybell defendant, case number CR 22211623. Verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception? Guilty. Question number 2. In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan? Guilty. Question number 3. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Guilty. Question number 4. In regards to count 4 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Guilty. Question number 5. In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Guilty. Question number 6. In regards to count 6 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Guilty. Question number 7. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of insurance fraud? Guilty. Question number 8. In regards to count 8 of the amended indictment, in regards to count 9 of the amended indictment, is Chad Guy Daybell not guilty or guilty of insurance fraud? Guilty. Dated this 30th day of May, 2024, and signed by the presiding juror.
Now, I wanted to put that entire clip up there because we needed to hear every last one of those, number 1. But again, here's my thing, and I go back and forth with this because if you follow me, then you know I'm somebody who will sit here and say, well, look, what is a normal reaction to this or a normal reaction to that, right? We're all different and whatnot. However, during this right here, looking at him, it's just par for the course. Did I expect anything different than that? No, okay? I would have loved to have seen him been like, oh my goodness, my loins, you know, on the floor or whatever. Who wouldn't, right? But I did not expect that. So him just standing there stoic, you know. Now let's go ahead and look at the next clip, but we're gonna start getting into the sentencing and stuff like that. So let's hear what the judge says. And again, look at Chad's face. Focus on that.
As to count one, the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception for the murder of Tylee Ryan, upon the jury's finding of guilty and return of the special verdict form, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court therefore, on count one, the defendant is sentenced to death.
Amen, as it should be, right? Again, nothing, but very rarely do you see people freak at the sentence. Now, you might see like a little bit of like, whatever, like say if you were there in the courtroom, kind of a thing. But even with Chad, there's just nothing. I think that he was just going through the motions. I think he knew this was going to happen. I would only assume maybe at some point he thought he could still get away with it, whatever. But once they were caught, once they were here at the point of trial, I mean, how could you not see this coming? You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, Pryor's over there just writing. This is all standard protocol, right? There's nothing that sticks out to me that's like different or anything other than the chilling aspect of Chad, especially with what we know now, hearing from all the jurors.
On count two, the first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court therefore, on count two, sentences the defendant to death.
I mean, just love hearing that, right? I'm gonna get petty for a second. And I don't feel bad getting petty because of the things that Chad has done to all these innocent people and children and whatnot. I know we joke about him being a toad and we call him Chud. Okay, I get that. But y'all literally looking at him up close, like this is my thought. I'm like, he literally looks like a frog. Like, and I feel bad to say that, but like, when you meet somebody who you'll be like, I'm sorry to say, but they just look like a horse. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Legit, Chad just looks like a bullfrog. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the resting, thing about him. But it's like the icing on the cake for him, right? It's like in a world where there is zero personality, he's done these horrible things, we've had to suffer through loin fire, and then on top of it, when he's sitting there, he literally looks like a bullfrog that's getting ready to be like, rabbit, rabbit. Like that's probably what he sounds like when he burps.
On count three, the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception for the J.J. Vallow, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court therefore, on count three, sentences the defendant to death.
Again, amen. Love to hear it. We'll talk about my thoughts processes on this death penalty specifically for this case here at the end. I just got a couple more clips to go over. But again, he's giving bullfrog, he's giving lily pad, he's giving nothing, right? But I think that's part of, like, he doesn't want to give people the satisfaction of showing a reaction, if that makes sense. Almost like, and I always go back, if you follow me for this case and you'll know, you're gonna be like, oh my God, he's bringing this up again. But I'll probably bring it up forever. It's one of those moments. I might make a top 10 moments that really pissed me off. Moments that really cooked my damn grits. Okay, and this would be one of them. And it was when this first court appearances that we saw of Lori. Kay, it might make me cry because I'm extra sensitive right now with Roscoe, but it's giving me goosebumps, so bear with me. When Kay and Larry and them were in the courtroom, it's the first time they're seeing Lori. I don't even know if she was maybe in Hawaii or quarterback, and she sauntered past Kay with that smirk on her face. And almost, in my opinion, the way I interpreted it, and again, obviously I wasn't there, I'm not Kay, I'm not Larry, I'm not speaking for them, but I would be curious what her thoughts, if somebody has seen her in an interview mention this, because this is how I took it. I took that moment as Lori smirking at Kay, almost like this, I got you. You know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing, which is what I go back to where I don't care what she's diagnosed with. I keep going back to that moment and how bad it pisses me off. But it was like that of like, I got you back. I got JJ, that kind of thing. To me, this is Chad's version of that. Like, I'm not going to let y'all see that I'm upset over the death penalty. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to, any of that stuff, right? That's the vibe I get from Chad. So, and again, I wasn't there though. Was not there. Talked to some people who were there, and they basically have all said the same thing where it's like, psh, there ain't nothing, right? You ain't getting nothing from this man. Just a bullfrogging.
On count 4, first-degree murder of J.J. Vallow, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances, when weighed against the mitigating circumstances, do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court therefore, on count 4, sentences the defendant to death. On count 5, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell, the jury, having found beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances, when weighed against the mitigating circumstances, do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court therefore, on count 5, sentences the defendant to death.
I mean, it's just one after the other. And again, with this, and I'll talk about this now before we get to the end of it or whatever, but I was surprised that they did go through with the DP, right? Only because to get to the point of that, it's oftentimes so difficult and it just takes one person, right? So in my world, I was sitting here like, it's gonna be life without parole. I was gonna be completely floored if they found him not guilty, right? Of anything. I was like, I don't see how it's possible, but again, I'm not a juror or lawyer. But the DP, I was like, I'm expecting life without parole. So when they came back with all this, and then hearing from them that, they didn't take this lightly, and that there was a little bit of back and forth with this part. I mean, all the things are there. It's almost classic textbook, right? I mean, when you look at the aggravating circumstances of this case, I mean, there you go. And again, he's just sitting there doing nothing. Let's keep going.
On count 6, the first-degree murder charge, the murder of Tammy Daybell, the jury, having found beyond a reasonable doubt and returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances, when weighed against the mitigating circumstances, do not make.
Amen, brother. Love the judge for that. Love every bit of it. Now, let's get to a couple of those. I don't want to say they're not serious, but like the insurance fraud, that kind of stuff. Let's hear what they did about those charges, and then we'll tidy things up and do some overall thoughts.
Before I impose any sentence, Mr. Daybell, you do have the right of allocution, which permits you to make a statement on your own behalf in any mitigation of these offenses. Is there any statement you would like to make before I proceed with sentencing on those counts?
No.
Very well.
No, I just wanted to throw that in there so we could just hear the one thing he had to say. No. And another thing I go back to is listening to those jurors where they're like, okay, when we were trying to come up with, is there any, can you give us a reason to not send him to Old Sparky? They're like, they didn't give us a reason. Even when he had the chance to speak, he didn't. It was like there was nothing there. And again, I think if you look at Lori speaking, which that was a little bit more clean cut, like there wasn't this aspect to it, the DP dynamic to her trial. But hearing her get up there and basically be like, I'm going to show all y'all, not a cute look. So it's probably best for Chad that he didn't, because I get what the jury's saying. I'm not going against what they said. I love the jury. But I guess my thought process is, what could you say? You know what I mean? Like literally, like what could you say? There's really nothing to say.
Indicates a penalty of up to 15 years of prison. On each of those 2 counts, the court is going to impose a prison sentence of 15 years. So a 15-year sentence will be imposed on count 7. The court will take under advisement the issue of restitution requested by the state. The court will not impose any fines. The court also will impose a 15-year prison sentence on count 9. Also pursuant to the same statute, take under advisement the issue of restitution.
Absolutely love it. He's gonna be doing time in the afterlife. Now, side note, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I've actually really enjoyed standing up and doing this. Okay, I have thoroughly enjoyed standing up and doing this. It's a totally different vibe. So that being said, let's talk about the other stuff. So one of the things that goes on with this, and like, let's just talk about my thoughts on DP in general. You know, I'm somebody who I'm not like, you know, for, against, yes or no. To me, there's context and gray zone and circumstances for every different situation, if that makes sense. So in a scenario like this, I guess what I'm saying is, like, am I morally against him getting the DP? Absolutely not, right? This is where I go, my train of thought. And maybe it's like silver lining, whatever. So like in my mind, like I already said, I was like, okay, I'm expecting him to get life without parole. So to me, and I've said this in my other videos, if you follow me, but if you're not, then you can hear it for the first time. I view the death penalty as the easy way out for a lot of these people. Because I'm like, number one, they might be able to be in a cell by themselves and have a little bit more of a better experience, even though it probably is miserable. It's safer, I would imagine. But it's a way out. Because to me, the pure hell on earth punishment would be being locked away like till you die of old age, right? He could live to be 80, right? That would be more miserable than the death penalty. Now, I'm not trying to sit here and say that I would not be pooping in my damn pants on the way to Old Sparky or whatever. Absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't be, right? I get that. But to me, that would be the easy way out. So I go back and forth with it, you know, and again, now in other scenarios where I look at it, like if there is a question of guilt, like, are we 100% sure they did it? Then that's where I question having the DP on the table. That I don't have that question with this case or with Chad or Lori, right? I think she should have gotten it. But again, I think it's an easier way out for them. Now, so I'll say this, if I was Chad, what I would do is be like, exhaust all my appeals. I don't want them. I know some of them are automatic, whatever you have to do, but I don't want them. Send me to the chair. Right now, send me to the chair. Because it's the easy way out. But he might, in his world, you heard how Jody Hildebrandt was, well, maybe I need to go to prison to minister. You know he's running Bible school up in his cell block, okay, if there is one. Now, from what I've understood, he's going to be locked down in, like, whatever you call it, like solitary or safety or whatever. So that's going to be tough, right? It's not going to be easy. And so that part's good. Because as much as he comes off as this passive bullfrog, I think he's an incredibly dangerous, toxic man, obviously, right? I don't think he ever needs to see the light of day. I don't think he needs to have contact with people, because I think the kind of stuff that him and Lori are doing, they can easily do from a prison cell. They have phones, they have the public, they have this. So that's what makes me nervous, and we've talked about this as well. Clearly his children, I'm mostly speaking of Emma, I mean, they're still drinking the Kool-Aid, right? So you have to question what's going to come of that. There's still the Julie Rose, the Emmas, all these people out there doing this. And so I'm sure Chad's able to pull strings. And then also, you know how this goes. There's going to be people and groupies that write them, and in a nefarious type way, you know, like in a creepy way, you know what I'm saying? Like in an infatuated type way, that he'll probably do his thing with. He's probably going to have women, I know it's hard to imagine, hell, maybe even some men, reaching out to him, and he's gonna try and fire up Loin Fire Part 2. I mean, I can't see him not, right? I'm sure there's people reaching out to Lori in that way, so I don't know. We'll see. It'll be very interesting. But yes, overall, there was nothing there. There was just nothing there in his face. But again, I would have been double shocked if I saw any kind of reaction from this man, because there is nothing. I can't remember the name of the story right now, but it's a Flannery O'Connor story, and one of the finishing lines of it, it's about a mother who is having this moment, and if you're familiar with Flannery O'Connor, this fall from grace narrative and all this type of stuff, but the last line is, her left eye became, as if it was unmoored. She raked her son's face up and down, found nothing, and then passed away. Literally, when I think of that story, I think of Chud's face, where it's like you rake his face up and down, you find nothing, and you just keep going along, right? It's damn near a Flannery O'Connor character brought to life, okay? So that's it. I appreciate you watching. If you're still watching, I do appreciate it. And let me know what you think down in the comment section. You know, do you agree with the sentence? Do you not agree with it? The whole 9 yards. I want to know. And as usual, drop some sofas down there in the comment section for myself, for Roscoe and Spirit, and we will come down and hang out in the comment section and talk about this case and all the other ones we do talk about here at the Sofa Squad. And until we do all that, we'll see y'all soon. I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now, don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. Also, if you're looking for merch, be sure to check out my Teespring store. I'll put that up here. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.